Hi, I'm Julie Jeppson, and welcome to Connecting Anoka County. I work with Stepping Stone Emergency Housing, Anoka County's only homeless shelter serving youth and adults. Connecting Anoka County is a time where I get together some local nonprofits and we talk about the work that we're doing in the county to help your community and you and give you the support and services that your community might need. I'm joined today with Steve Griffiths with Impact Services and David Fry with Family Promise in Anoka County. And why don't you guys just briefly describe what you do for your organization and what your organization does for the community. Steve, why don't you go ahead?
Sure, I'm Steve Griffiths. I'm the Executive Director with Impact Services. And we're a local senior service organization. The main thing that we do is Meals on Wheels for about 17 communities in Anoka County, mainly the northern part of Anoka County, basically from Anoka all the way up into St. Francis, all the way to Lino Lakes, Ham Lake, kind of that area. And then we also have a family aging education program helping families dialogue about the aging process. And then the last thing that we do is some Dementia Friends training, helping communities become dementia friendly.
Wonderful. And David?
I'm David Fry, Director of Family Promise in Anoka County. We are a program that helps families with children that are experiencing homelessness move to housing independence. We utilize a network of 16 congregations around the county who take a week at a time to provide the overnight shelter and the meals for families. Then we have a day center that gives the families a home base, a place where they can do laundry, use computers, have an address, and then they can meet with our case manager who offices out of there as well.
Wonderful. Now, on the surface, both of you guys run a very, very different organization. You with the elderly and aging and Meals on Wheels, and you with those families who are experiencing homelessness. But what drove me to have both of you together here today was to really talk about independence, because even though your organizations are so different, each of you has that word in your mission statement. So that's what I wanted to come together today and talk a little bit about. So David, with you, for those families who need Family Promises support, what do you think independence means to them or looks like to them?
Well, for people that are experiencing homelessness, we know that it can be a very difficult thing because it's really hard to always be relying on other people for your daily needs and to just get by. Things that many of us that aren't experiencing homelessness would take for granted are a big project, a big chore for people. So the idea that they can regain independence to be able to live on their own, to have a place that they can call home, and that they're not relying on family or friends or other services to be able to have a place to stay at night, just changes the whole dynamic for the family. It changes how parenting can happen. You're able to be the sole parent again. You're not having to share that job with grandma and grandpa or whatever friend you're able to have in the basement, and that you're able to share basement space with or something. And so I think that the independence is the key thing that really changes the outlook for families in that feeling of being able to be a part of what it is, a part of the community in that way.
Yeah. And so Steve, your organization, with the Meals on Wheels and Family Aging Education clients, they are grasping so hard to hold on to that independence. So what is it about your programs that allows your clients to hold on to that independence?
Yeah, so our seniors, I think a lot of our seniors see their independence, I don't want to say stripped away, but they're losing some of that independence, not on a daily basis, but as we age, we're not able to do some things. We might not be able to go out and go grocery shopping. We might not be able to cook for ourselves. And we need some family help. We need some other support, maybe from the community. And really what we're trying to do is help those seniors continue to remain independent as long as possible, staying in their own home. With our Meals on Wheels program, the first thing that we really do to help with that is we offer the people that we serve the opportunity to choose their entree every day. So we're very fortunate. We work with Mercy Hospital as our caterer, and they give us a menu of 3 different things. It could be beef stroganoff or chicken breast, and then the chef special. And we send out that menu every 2 weeks, and people get to make that choice that today I chose to eat beef stroganoff. And I think that makes all the difference in the world for somebody versus somebody coming and just handing you a meal. Imagine you pick a pizza delivery place and you call them and say, I want a pizza, and they show up with a pizza that has black olives on it, and you don't like black olives, well, that's what you get. No, we're trying to restore that independence. And same thing with our family aging education program, helping senior citizens talk with their family about what does this look like and what do I want as I age, so that I'm in control of making the decisions before decisions are having to be made before me. That's really what our organization is all about.
The empowerment of choice is so
Absolutely.
essential. Yeah, wonderful. And Steve, what does, so your population, all of our populations have significant barriers that they need to overcome. So what does Impact Services do to help overcome some of those barriers?
You know, I think one of the things that we try and do is be a resource for our seniors, so that when somebody calls in, number one, they know that they're going to get that meal. You know, with our Meals on Wheels program, the other thing that people don't think about is the wellness check that we're able to do for families. So when you as an adult child live maybe 2 towns away, or you're working all day but you're concerned about mom and dad, you know that you've got somebody knocking on the door, delivering that meal, but also being the eyes and ears for you, so that every day when our volunteers come back, the first thing we ask is, how did everything go? And our volunteers, because they volunteer on a very frequent basis, get to build relationships with these people. And, so they know when things are a little bit off. So we're able to give that added value, so to speak, about, here is what's going on with mom and dad. You might want to check in on them. I don't know if that answered your question completely, or?
Absolutely.
Oh, good.
Absolutely.
Good.
Yep. And David, going to you, how does Family Promise empower your clients towards independence?
I think that the key thing is talking about those barriers. We don't have housing that we can provide ourselves, but what we are able to do is to help families identify and remove the barriers that are preventing them from getting into housing as it is. Oftentimes they may have a bad credit history or bad rental history, and they may also not have enough income currently coming in. So we help them to strategize how it is that they'll be able to remove those barriers. We're not able to generally provide housing to the families, but when we're able to help them achieve that themselves, that goes back to the independence part. It's something that they've been able to do to build that up. And then we've tried to follow up, try to keep on with some other pieces to prevent barriers from getting in the way again. We have a program that we call the Life Skills Program. We have a person who sits down with each of our families and works through budgeting, talks about their history, where they've struggled, where they've done well with things, and tries to set up a system that will prevent them from having a bad experience with a landlord again. Help them to make sure that they can stay in the place, that they maintain that independence that they've achieved. And so we try to make sure that not only are we removing the barriers that they currently have, but trying to help prevent future barriers from causing the same problem to happen again. A lot of the people that we work with, they're close. They're always going to be close. Once they move into a house, that's not the end of the story. Once they move into an apartment, it's not the end of the story. A lot of the same things that they're struggling with, low-paying jobs, healthcare bills, trying to figure out what to do with the kids during the day while they're working, or if they have odd hours. Those are all things that they're going to continue to struggle with once they've left the program and they've moved into housing. So we're trying with the budgeting process with the life skills to help make sure that it's helping them to stay stable and to be able to remain in there so that they don't have the same kind of problems again.
Great, yeah. So both of you touched a little bit on not just the service that you provide to your client, but for David, your clients, your volunteers and your staff, and the children that are in this situation. And Steve, you talked about family members, the volunteers. Your clients are not just the only ones affected by the service that you provide. So how do you think, and maybe share a story about that impacted you or another person besides your client, above and beyond the person receiving your services? So David, why don't you go ahead first?
Sure. We have a lot of volunteers that are involved with our program. Mainly that's what we do, is we manage a volunteer response to homelessness through those congregations. So by the hours that are put in, more than 85% of all the work is done by volunteers. And we get a lot of stories back from the volunteers about some of the experiences that they've had. But the one that has stuck with me is a girl who wrote us a letter that served when she was 9 years old as one of the hosts. They would come, her whole family would come in the evening to the church, and they would come and play with the kids. And she wrote that the first time that she came to play with the kids, she was really nervous because she didn't know how it was going to go. She didn't know what it was like to experience homelessness herself. She didn't know how the kids would act and how they would be different and that kind of stuff. And she said that within about 15 minutes, she had discovered that they weren't any different at all. And she really enjoyed being able to just go and play with the other kids. They enjoyed having other kids around. And but it was something that affected her because she found that she was able to have an impact with the kids who were experiencing homelessness with their families simply by treating them the way she would everybody else. That life was normal. She was at the church playing, they were at the church playing, and there was no real difference there. And when she moved out of the area, the first thing that she wanted to do was to find a place in Colorado where she could continue to serve in that kind of capacity as well. So we've seen that with young people. I started off as a volunteer with Family Promise many years ago, close to the time that it first started, and same sort of thing, just going and playing with the kids and doing whatever they wanted to do. It was something that I felt my heart lifted in that, and that was why when this opportunity came for me to be a part of the staff and to do this on a regular basis, that was an exciting thing for me because I was volunteering and really enjoying myself with that, and just feeling like there was an impact that I could have simply by being there, being present, and being normal.
It's definitely true that as a volunteer, you definitely, or as an employee with the organizations where we work, is that you definitely get more than you give back. And that's what's so amazing about the jobs that we do, I find. And so, Steve, do you have a story about someone impacted?
Yeah, we have a woman who drives for us very frequently. And unbeknownst to me, she had actually developed a very strong relationship with one of the women that we serve every day. And I was actually at a meeting at one of the Caribou Coffees in town, and I saw her volunteer walk in with this other woman. I thought, oh, it's really nice that she has a friend that they're just enjoying an afternoon of conversation. And I'm sitting there, I'm talking with the person I'm with, and this other person comes and taps me on the shoulder, and she says, "I understand you're Steve." And I said, "Yeah." She says, "And you work with Impact Services and Meals on Wheels?" And I said, "Yeah." And she introduced herself, and she said, "I want you to know that your meals are so good."
Oh.
And I thought, wow, that is really a phenomenal testament to what we do.
Yeah.
And then I had to think for a second, and I realized, oh my goodness, this person has pureed meals every day.
Oh.
And for her to say that these are the best meals, when I know what that looks like, I mean, we all know what a pureed meal looks like. I thought, wow, we're impacting not only her with the food, but she has this special friend who comes and takes her out for coffee maybe once a month. Not only are we taking care of the physical need of that nutritious meal, but for a lot of our people, the isolation is the biggest part of it. And she's developed this relationship that goes way beyond anything that our organization is core to, so to speak. But that just, I mean, I walked out of the meeting that I was at and thinking about that and thinking, how cool is this that these two, from this organization have built this bond that they just really enjoy getting together, and they would have never met each other any other way.
Right, right. So that leads me to my next question, and David, you alluded to this, 85% of the people involved in your organization are volunteers, which is a huge number, and I'm sure your percentage is very, very high as well. So for those watching this, what kind of opportunities do you have for people to get involved? They may not want to take someone to coffee, or they may not want to come and play with the children, or they may want to, but what are some options that you have for people to get involved?
Well, every night the congregations that are the host ones are always looking for volunteers. It takes about 6 to 8 volunteers per night on average to cook the meals, to clean up, to spend time with the kids and the parents, and to stay the overnight at the church, to drive the bus. So the local congregations are always looking for more people who would like to be a part of that program within their congregation.
So they don't have to be a member of that congregation?
No,
Okay.
and most of our congregations are more than willing to bring people from outside. And so if you want to look around into the area, what congregations are in your area, you can give us a call and we can help you find out some that are nearby. We also have weekends. Our day center stays open 7 days a week, all day long for families that are there when the church is not where they are. And so on the weekends, that's staffed by volunteers. We are always looking for more volunteers to help out there too. We have a lot of dedicated ones who do it multiple times a month, but sometimes they take vacations too, and it's nice to have other people that can help out there. And then we have needs around the day center all the time. If you're handy with things, we always need repairs. Right now we have a washing machine that isn't working correctly, so we're always looking for people that can help out with some repairs, some fixes, doing some moving with families, all sorts of stuff. If you have any kind of special skills, give us a call and we'll talk about it, because we can probably find a way to put them to use.
Right? Yeah. And Steve, what about you guys?
You know, our biggest need obviously is, drivers.
Okay.
So, on any given day, we have anywhere between 20 and 25 people who are out in the community driving.
Okay.
And it's usually between about 10:30, people are done by 12:15. And, they're visiting with anywhere between probably 4 and 8 people. It's great to do as a couple. It's great to do it with your kids. Our participants love seeing kids because they just see that energy and just absolutely love doing that. And again, what you said, I think there's so much, our volunteers, I think, get more out of it than they really anticipate. I would say our other needs are, we have a lot of committees that kind of power our organization. So we have a couple of special events. We have a golf tournament. We have a gala. So if people are interested in, joining one of those committees, that would be great. We have a marketing committee. We have a program committee. So if people have some special talents that they're looking for, just an opportunity to say, how can I put my skill set into, a local organization? If they were to give us a phone call, we would love to get them involved.
Great. Now, you touched on it a little bit, but both of you were a little too humble in how people can get involved in attending your fundraisers and being a part of that, and giving of time, in-kind dollars, things like that. But so just briefly mention an event that's coming up this year that you would like to highlight. So Steve, why don't you share one with us?
Yeah, well, our big gala event is October 6th. It's Dessert First.
Okay.
It's out at the courtyards of Andover. When we say Dessert First, it literally is Dessert First.
And where's the dessert come from?
It comes from Truffles and Torts in Anoka.
Yep.
And they do dessert appetizers. It's
Nice.
just it's a fun night. Silent auction, live auction, some fundraising games, a little bit of a program. It's a really, really fun night. We have people who dress up, we have people who dress down. It's all good. We just want people to come and support us.
Yeah. And David, what exciting event do you have happening this year?
We have on Thursday, September 21st, the first hot dish for homelessness, we're calling it.
I love that.
It's going to follow a church basement potluck theme. We have a catered meal that will feature all sorts of great stuff like the Jell-O fluff salad and beef goulash and wild rice hot dish.
Nice.
The most exciting part, though, is that we have a gentleman by the name of Garrison Keeler who's going to be the featured speaker at that, and he's donating his time so that he can be part of that event, and we'll have tickets going on sale on our website for that on August 1st.
August 1st, okay.
And so that's available, and if we're looking for sponsorships too. So
Wonderful.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is that both of you have some contact information coming when the credits are showing. So, but real quickly, the best way to get a hold of you, David, is through your website.
Yep, or email director@familypromiseanoka.org.
Okay, and Steve?
Yeah, our website's probably best. Our email is great
Okay.
as well, steve@impactservicesmn.org.
Wonderful. Well, thank you both for joining me today and talking about independence and your clients and all the wonderful things you do in Anoka County and beyond. Thank you for joining us today with Connecting Anoka County. Have a great day.